Let me be honest with you about something that most people completely get wrong about Aptera right now. The stock price does not tell the full story of what is actually happening inside that company. Before we dive into the real updates, I need to address the elephant that keeps showing up in every comment section. People see a declining stock and immediately assume the company is dying or falling apart completely. But here is the thing: that assumption is not just wrong. It is dangerously misleading if you care about this vehicle. Let me walk you through exactly why I believe Aptera will actually deliver vehicles this year in 2026. And I want to start by putting the stock situation into a context that most people simply refuse to acknowledge openly. Aptera's stock is down roughly 80% from where it originally debuted when it first went public on the market. Now, before you close this video, I need you to stay with me here because that number has important context. Polestar, a company that has already delivered thousands of vehicles, is down over 90% from its debut. Rivian, another company actively delivering vehicles right now, is also down approximately 88% from its original price. Lucid Motors, which produces one of the most technologically advanced electric sedans on the planet, tells a very similar story. So the stock decline at Aptera, while not ideal, is pretty standard behavior for early-stage EV companies right now. This is not me making excuses for the company or trying to spin bad news into something positive for you. This is just the reality of how EV startups tend to behave financially as they approach the production phase. As you get closer to actually building vehicles at scale, cash burn increases dramatically, and investors start getting impatient very quickly. There is a lot of dilution involved in raising the funds needed to go from prototype to full production delivery. That dilution often pushes valuations higher than what the open market ultimately decides the company is actually worth at the time. And then people who bought in at the top feel burned, and they take their frustration straight into the comment sections everywhere. I completely understand that frustration, by the way, because I wanted this vehicle to come out years ago myself. I am genuinely annoyed by how long this whole process has taken, and I think most people at Aptera feel the same way. But here is where I need you to shift your lens just slightly if you want to see what is really going on. The stock price is a financial instrument reacting to market sentiment, funding cycles, and investor psychology right now. The state of the product and the factory floor is a completely separate story, and that story looks genuinely exciting today. When I look at what is actually happening inside the Aptera facility, I have never felt more optimistic about their future, honestly. They are no longer just building a handful of prototypes and presenting them at events to keep people excited and interested. They are actively building the machine that builds the machine, and that distinction is everything when it comes to production readiness. That phrase might sound like corporate speak, but what it actually means is deeply significant for anyone following this company closely. It means Aptera is now focused on the assembly line itself, not just on proving that individual components work in isolation. They are analyzing the order of operations for how the vehicle gets put together efficiently and repeatedly at meaningful production scale. When does the instrument cluster go in? When do the seats get installed? When does the center console get mounted? These are the questions that a company only asks when it is genuinely preparing to build vehicles for real paying customers. You do not hire people specifically to optimize assembly sequencing unless you are planning to actually run that assembly line very soon. And that is exactly what Aptera is doing right now, hiring and training people to streamline the production process completely. Jeff the Ninja did a factory tour recently that I genuinely think every single Aptera follower needs to go watch right now. He was given full access to the Ferris factory and walked through every single stage of the vehicle assembly process in detail. He showed how the vehicle gets broken down into sub-assemblies, how the chassis comes together, how everything marries to the battery pack. And looking at the components he was shown, it is clear that the build quality has taken a serious and meaningful leap forward. The instrument cluster is no longer what we saw in those earlier Pi prototype builds that got shared online a while back. The materials on the steering yoke look completely different, more refined, more production-ready, more like something you would actually deliver to customers. And as far as I can tell from watching the footage closely, none of those components appear to be 3D printed anymore at all. These look like actual production-grade parts, which is a major milestone that deserves far more attention than it has been getting lately. Steve from Aptera Owners Club also got access to the facility and shared a broader, more zoomed-out look at the whole assembly layout. Between these two factory tours, you get a really clear and detailed picture of how far the operation has actually come recently. This is not a company scrambling to prove viability anymore. This is a company actively organizing itself around building at meaningful scale. And then there is the moment that really stood out to me more than anything else I have seen from Aptera recently. A YouTuber known as Realistic Drive was given access to one of the Pi builds and told to just go drive it freely. He was not supervised by Chris Anthony, the CEO, or by their marketing team, or by any Aptera representative watching over his shoulder. They just handed him the vehicle and said go drive it, which is an enormous signal of confidence from the Aptera team. He drove it for what appeared to be several hours, and from the footage he seemed to genuinely enjoy the experience overall. He also offered some constructive criticism about certain areas of the vehicle that still need refinement before customer deliveries begin. And I was really glad to see that Aptera welcomed that kind of honest feedback rather than trying to control the narrative carefully. That openness tells me they are not in damage control mode. They are in improvement mode, and those are very different places to be. A company that is struggling hides its product. A company that is confident lets people drive it for hours without a chaperone watching. Think about what it means when a startup hands a content creator the keys and says, give us your honest thoughts on it. That level of transparency is not something you see from companies that are worried about what people are going to find or experience. It is something you see from companies that believe in what they have built and want real-world feedback to make it even better. And the vehicle clearly has things worth being confident about, especially when you look at the efficiency and design advantages it holds. There is genuinely nothing else on the market right now that compares to what Aptera is trying to deliver to customers today. That is not fan enthusiasm talking. That is just an honest assessment of what exists and what does not exist in the EV space. You cannot build a more aerodynamic four-wheeled vehicle than the Aptera because the laws of physics simply will not allow it. Traditional sedans are required by law to carry a front license plate, and that flat plate alone destroys your coefficient of drag significantly. The shape you need for a truly optimal aerodynamic form is exactly the teardrop shape that Aptera has committed to from the very beginning. So even if a major automaker decided tomorrow to chase Aptera's efficiency numbers, they would be working against regulatory constraints from day one. Aptera is classified as an autocycle, and that classification carries real and meaningful advantages that go far beyond just the aerodynamics alone. Insurance costs for an autocycle are significantly lower than what you would pay for a traditional passenger vehicle in most states across America. Registration fees are lower. Maintenance requirements are fundamentally different. The ownership cost equation just looks completely different from a regular car. And then you layer solar charging on top of all of that, and you have something that genuinely has no equivalent anywhere on the market. Free energy from the sun, built directly into the vehicle, charging you while you drive, while you park, while the vehicle just sits there. No other production vehicle gives you that. Not the Model 3. Not the Lucid Air. Not anything from any major automaker right now. You are going to pay for electricity no matter how efficient your EV is, unless that EV happens to be generating its own power constantly. The Lucid Air is one of the most efficient long-range EVs ever built, and you still have to plug it in and pay every single time. And the Lucid costs easily twice what the Aptera is expected to retail for, probably more depending on the configuration you choose to buy. So you are paying more money for less efficiency, no solar, no autocycle benefits, and a vehicle that looks like everything else on the road. I am not saying the Lucid is a bad vehicle. It is genuinely impressive technology and a beautiful car by almost any reasonable standard. But when you compare the total value proposition side by side, Aptera occupies a completely different category that nothing else is competing in right now. And that is exactly why I keep rooting for this company despite every delay, every funding challenge, and every frustrating timeline slip they have experienced. There is no backup plan if Aptera fails. There is no other company waiting in the wings to deliver what Aptera is trying to build. If Aptera does not bring this vehicle to market, the solar autocycle category simply does not exist in any meaningful production form right now. Someone will eventually build something like it, because the direction of automotive efficiency points inevitably toward exactly what Aptera is already doing today. As automakers push efficiency further and further each year, the aerodynamic and solar logic that underpins Aptera becomes more and more obvious to everyone. But right now, in this moment, Aptera is the only team actually building it, and they are closer than they have ever been before. Now let me talk about the funding situation, because this is another area where I think the narrative gets distorted by surface-level reading. Yes, Aptera has faced serious funding challenges. Yes, deliveries have slipped. Yes, the timeline has stretched longer than anyone wanted or expected. But the nature of that funding is changing in ways that I think are genuinely significant and worth paying close attention to right now. They recently closed approximately $9 million in their latest funding round, with institutional investors potentially expanding that up to $18 million. That word institutional matters enormously here. We are no longer talking purely about crowdfunding and passionate individual supporters writing small checks. Institutional investors do due diligence. They have analysts. They look at risk in ways that individual retail investors typically do not do carefully. When institutions start writing checks to an early-stage EV startup, it means something meaningful has shifted in how the company is being evaluated. It means people with serious financial stakes and serious analytical resources looked at Aptera and decided the risk was worth taking on now. That is a different conversation than crowdfunding, and it signals a level of credibility that the company has clearly been working hard to build. On top of that, Aptera confirmed they received access to $5 million through a SEC grant, which stands for California Energy Commission. And that grant can expand from there, because Aptera is now spending money on production tooling, which is exactly what grant programs like this reward. Production tooling money is not prototype money. It is not research money. It is money that goes directly toward building the actual manufacturing infrastructure. Every dollar spent on production tooling is a dollar that moves the assembly line closer to the moment when the first customer vehicle rolls out. So when you stack the institutional investment alongside the SEC grant and the equity line of credit they have had access to previously, the picture changes. This is not a company surviving on the passion of its fan base anymore. This is a company attracting real capital for real production purposes now. And all of that capital, from what I can see, is being directed exactly where it needs to go at this specific moment in time. It is going into the assembly process. It is going into production tooling. It is going into hiring people who specialize in manufacturing optimization specifically, not into building another prototype, not into attending another trade show, not into a marketing campaign, into actually building the production infrastructure itself. That is exactly the right use of capital at exactly the right stage of the company. And it gives me genuine confidence in where things are heading. I will admit I have been too optimistic in the past. I have said things were closer than they turned out to be, and I own that. But this feels different to me, and I want to explain specifically why, rather than just asking you to take my word for anything. The difference is that Aptera has moved from building prototypes with individual production-grade components to building out the full assembly line logic systematically. Earlier, you would hear updates like this prototype has the production battery, or this build has the production suspension and motor installed now. Each prototype was proving that individual pieces could work at production spec, which is a necessary phase, but still fundamentally a prototype phase overall. What is happening now is different in kind, not just in degree, from everything that came before it in Aptera's development history. They are not proving components anymore. They are proving the process, the sequence, the workflow that turns components into a finished, deliverable vehicle. That shift, from component validation to process optimization, is the last major conceptual leap before a company begins actual production deliveries to customers. I have watched enough startup manufacturing stories to know that this phase is where things either come together or fall apart for real. And from everything I can see through the factory tours, the updates, and the independent drives, things look like they are coming together now. The seats are a small detail that I want to mention because it actually stuck with me after I thought about it for a while. I sat in one of the early Aptera seats that they showcased at an event in San Francisco a year or two ago in person. It was fine, functional, but it was noticeably stiff in a way that would have been fatiguing on any kind of longer drive or road trip. In the most recent updates, they appear to have addressed that. The production seats look softer and more refined than what I experienced earlier. That might sound like a small thing, but it tells me the team is paying attention to the details that actually matter for the ownership experience. Big dramatic technology milestones get the headlines, but it is the small refinements like seat comfort that determine whether customers actually love the vehicle long-term. The fact that they caught it, addressed it, and improved it before customer deliveries tells me the product development mindset is in the right place now. I know it is hard to stay optimistic when the timeline has slipped as many times as it has over the years for this vehicle. I know there are people who have been waiting since the very beginning, some of whom have been reservation holders for multiple years at this point. Their patience is not unlimited, and I completely respect the frustration that comes from wanting something this much for this long without receiving it yet. But I want to put the delays in context, because I think they are more understandable when you look at them through the right lens honestly. Funding dictates speed. That is not unique to Aptera. That is just how hardware startups, especially vehicle startups, actually work in practice every time. When you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you can hire faster, tool faster, iterate faster, and solve problems faster than your timeline originally projected. When you are carefully managing a much smaller capital base, every decision takes longer, and every delay compounds into something that feels much bigger than it is. Aptera has been building one of the most technically ambitious vehicles in the history of the consumer EV space, on a relatively limited budget overall. The fact that they have gotten as far as they have, with the components they have developed, is actually remarkable when you look at it with fresh eyes. No one else has put production-grade solar panels, a three-wheel Autocycle platform, and an aerodynamic coefficient that competitive with their level of funding available. They have done it because the core team believes in what they are building, and that belief has sustained the company through genuinely difficult periods recently. And now, with institutional money coming in, with a SEX grant unlocked, with the assembly process being actively optimized and refined, momentum feels genuinely different. I think 2026 is the year. I am not saying that out of blind loyalty or because I just want to believe it badly enough to say it. I am saying it because the evidence on the factory floor, from the independent test drives, from the funding structure, points toward production happening this year. The machine that builds the machine is being built. The people who will run that machine are being hired and trained and prepared right now. The components are no longer 3D printed stand-ins. They are production-grade parts that belong in a vehicle going to a real customer's driveway soon. And the company has moved beyond being purely dependent on crowdfunding and is now attracting institutional attention that validates the technical progress being made. When you add all of that up, the picture that emerges is not of a company in trouble. It is of a company on the verge of something real. So, what do you think? Are you still holding on to your patience? Or are these recent updates starting to renew your confidence in Aptera's future? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments, because I genuinely want to know where the community is sitting emotionally on this right now today. And if you have been supporting this channel directly, thank you sincerely. It makes a real difference and I do not take it for granted at all.